Hi Libra, it's so good to see you. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new to my channel, my name is Chandler. This is your weekly intuitive reading. Today is a special day. It's 11/11 and we have this energetic gateway 11/11 portal open. And so I'm doing all 12 signs, very quick forecast for astrology to give you some insights of what energies to expect. And then we're going to be going in with the tarot for a short clarity reading on what it is that's actually coming in for you for this manifestation of such auspicious energy that we're in. This may work for you if you have a sun, moon, rising, or Venus in the sign of Libra. And of course, if you're a cross-watcher, feel free to switch up or reverse the roles. My readings are not date specific, so I trust that whenever you find this reading, it is divinely guided to you. Feel free to check out any of my previous readings as well, as there may be messages in there for you. And I'm not currently offering personal readings. That's been something coming up from my viewers recently. We are in very interesting energies. There's a lot coming up and there's a lot of clarity needed. I do understand the need for personals. There are a lot of amazing readers here on YouTube that are offering personals at this time, but I am unfortunately not. However, I do offer extendeds if you'd like to follow me over to Vimeo. I typically do get a little bit more clarity on any given situation. Okay, so if you find this resonates, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I would love to see you back. So as you can kind of tell already, my words, man, this Mercury retrograde, it's been rough. You know, it's hit us all pretty hard. So I may be repeating myself. I may have a speech impediment. I literally may not be able to get the words out, but I'm going to try today to get all of these readings done. So with this energy, let's start with the astrology, and then we'll go into the tarot, like we had discussed. So, the astrology today is really interesting. Of course, we do have Mercury retrograde in Scorpio, and we have, I think, 4 planets in Scorpio as of now, which is creating this deeper and greater awakening, because as Scorpio represents all that lies beneath the surface, all of the sort of creepy, shadowy, dark aspects of our shadow that ultimately do need to be illuminated so that we can alchemize or transform and heal from these issues. So, you know, Scorpio is a little bit bittersweet of a season. It kind of comes with a sting. It could be psychologically shifting. Okay, our perspectives could be totally different by the end of the season. And especially with the retrogrades we're having. So we have Mercury retrograde, we have Neptune retrograde, we have another energy retrograde as well, as Chiron kind of playing a distinctive role within the issues kind of coming up regarding our wounding, our trauma, our healing from previous experiences, from potentially 1 year ago or from 5 years ago. You know, these could be long-standing issues that we're having to really address and take a different approach toward. And the reason I say a different approach is because after seeing things today and this week, you're going to have a period of time where you're able to process what it is you find. You're going to be able to process. It's a bit of a downtime. It's much more spiritual. It's much more emotional. It's much more ethereal, and not so psychologically shifting. Okay, not so pulling on our emotions. Rather, it's a time of integration. It's a time of quiet. Okay, so that's going to be really assisting us this week, and I think a lot of us really need that right now. And today marks that day of, okay, we're about halfway through Scorpio season. There's been a lot going on. And we need a little bit of a break. We need a little bit of a time to process and integrate these things so that we can alchemize and transform them on an emotional level. The 11/11 day is ultimately this greater illuminating day. It's a portal or a gateway for manifestation. And so As we have Mercury retrograde, it's also a cazimi against the sun. So this is a very rare astrological event. The fact that it's on this day is by no accident. The universe is trying to help us, assist us, alchemize, and kind of clean off the dust of the day. There's been a lot to handle, to carry, to process recently. And with the sun's involvement coming through, sort of fully encapsulating this Mercury retrograde energy as it transits the sun, we're going to be blinded from Mercury's involvement. We're going to see the sun, and it's going to be completely encapsulating what Mercury retrograde is wanting us to see and feel and hear this season. Now, I don't feel like it's such a black and white thing this week. I think that where the sun is wanting to take us is this ultimate illumination, this grander, bigger perspective of ego, I am, authority, direct and clearing the way for ultimate truths that may not be so right or wrong, that might not be so black and white, right? It's very progressive, but it takes us really looking at things from a more receptive place, such as Mercury retrograde, leaning back, being the observer, absorbing the information this week so that we can take action later on. Through this energy, we're no longer pointing the finger at others, as much as this Scorpio season may have wanted us or made us feel so in the right, or having this seat of authority and the entire situation being opposing, or having these regurgitated feelings of past traumas and not really knowing how this conflict was going to be resolved either within ourselves or within a situation regarding another. You cannot claim things as black and white anymore, good or bad. But now we're being asked to view the entirety of the situation in its fullest as more of an experience. And by doing that, then we're able to see maybe how embracing those spooky, hidden, creepy, crawly, vengeful vendettas and shadowy aspects in the darkness within Scorpio season, and how embracing that can actually transform it. I hope that this is making sense for some of you guys. I hope that, you get the feeling I'm trying to portray, because there's so many words and, so many feelings coming up as I'm channeling this information. It can be different for everyone, but you know your situation, and you know where you have stood, you know where you stand, and there is a feeling with being brought through the sun as to not just will away your power, or let down your healthy boundaries, but instead kind of embracing the unknown, reclaiming what it is you felt powerless over, reclaiming what it is you felt victimized by. And in so doing, you're integrating this shadowy aspect that is afraid of the brilliance of the sun. It's afraid of the divinity of embracing this power, of truly being this magnanimous force within yourself. It's been hiding and lurking, afraid to come to that truth. And it's almost as if your own darkness, or the darkness of the situation, wants to stand in the brilliance of you being in that power, you being in the realization that you have transformed, that you have healed, that you can ultimately turn this into a very positive and productive time, regardless of what circumstances you may be facing. This is truly the realization that may be coming to you today. So, of course, stand your ground, have healthy boundaries, don't accept or settle for anything less than you deserve. you know who you are. If there's an opposition or if there is darkness surrounding you, then it almost confirms how much light and power you have within that you may or may not be accessing in truth, but through the week you're going to have direct access to that power. You're going to have direct access to that truth. And I don't think you'll be the same after. I don't feel like you'll be the same after. And so this day and this week is going to be bringing a powerhouse of not only information, but energy and perspective. And so you can really sink your teeth into that starting today. And then as we move into the week, I think the next biggest astrology that we need to cover is the full moon in Taurus on 11/12, so tomorrow. This full moon in Taurus, of course, Taurus representing quality versus quantity, what we love, what we cherish, what we value, what we are devoted to, okay, what gives us function and purpose. Where our value lies also translates to our finances, setting your standards and your priorities accordingly for how it benefits you and your ability to progress. Okay, where your needs are met ultimately does translate into this emotional quality that Taurus is wanting to bring to your life. So, full moon in Taurus is trining Saturn and Pluto, sextiling Neptune. So, this is the period of settling and integrating what you've recently unearthed. What has recently come up from the depths and maybe rocked your world and your psyche, your emotional stability, your belief systems, even as far as your childhood and the foundation that you felt or lack of foundation that you felt. The emotional wounding caused by your parents and the responsibility you felt at times over situations that were out of your control, people's influence in your life, telling you that you didn't know what you were thinking or doing or talking about or believed. And there is this contradictory feeling. You're coming back home to what it is you know and have power over. And so this full moon is going to be that period of integrating all of these thoughts that are coming up in Scorpio season. Again, there's so many reflections that can happen during this time. But ultimately, what it is trying to bring to you is lasting progress and appropriate building. Because without this time of integration and without this time of spirituality and thoughtfulness and true deep reflection from the self or soul level, then it's almost impossible to continue to make lasting progress. Because these things that you're reviewing are probably playing out in your life in a very cyclical or unhealthy way. On a very subconscious level. There could be elements of masochism or self-sabotage because of the things that you feel undeserving of, or the things that ultimately comfort you in the moment but may not be very good for you long term. So this is all about health. This is all about daily progress that is going to help sustain lasting progress. So with the full moon in Taurus, we're getting very fixed or rigid ideas coming up. And the question here is, how can you get out of your own way? What do you deserve? And do these fixed or rigid ideas of what you deserve serving you? Because let's just face it, there could be elements through Taurus that are overindulgent, that are luxurious or extravagant in nature, but are not so tangible. So that's also going to be playing a role. Is this a real thing that can be obtained by you? Is this something that you've been entertaining just to avoid maybe the discomfort of acknowledging the displacement in your life? These issues of what we deserve force us to see what we have been prioritizing, and also force us to question the judgment of what we've chosen to prioritize. Like I said, where your value lies also translates to your finances. So if you've been prioritizing having fun and sort of overspending and living the lap of luxury when you know you can't sustain it, then where has your judgment been? And for what reasons are these habits being propelled? Because there's a deeper subconscious layer here that cannot be avoided or negotiated anymore. So this Mercury retrograde and the 1111 portal issues are being further clarified, as Mercury retrograde is forcing us to make low vibrational issues our priority. How bad does a situation need to get before you gain clarity and fix it? How low do you have to sink before you choose to swim? It's like a snake shedding its skin. Sometimes it's an uncomfortable process. But if it has our awareness, then we have the power to change it. This is the sun's influence during Mercury retrograde, as it is a cazimi today on the 1111 portal. You have deeper awarenesses that can be shown in the light now. And so, if it has your awareness, then you have the power to change it. A lot of the times, the only reason that negative influence prevail in our life is when we choose to not look at it, and when we choose to just ignore it, and we don't give it our awareness. So, giving it your awareness may be the most uncomfortable part, but as soon as you do see things clearly, then alchemy can happen. Now is the time to really take a good look at the deeper truths that you may have been avoiding. You may not have been admitting to others how you feel, sure. But even deeper, you may not have even been admitting this to yourself. Taurus is about beauty. It's illuminating the power of Mercury and the sun in Scorpio. So yeah, it may be bringing up some of those spooky, creepy, crawly things that we don't really want to look at. But this discomfort is a process of becoming more high vibrational. And then this physical reality of the Taurus energy of material possessions, beauty, earthly comforts, long-lasting determination and goals, visceral sensations, really enjoying your physical reality and the pleasures that are in it, and this Venusian luxury that Taurus brings through has a chance to be manifested. Tough love is sometimes necessary. Showing self-love by being disciplined and organized is where you want to be by the end of this full moon energy. It's really the scorpionic, lustrous, visceral desires. Is that what you truly want? Is that truly what brings you comfort? Or could it be something more humble and simple than that? With fixed Taurus lunar energy, ask yourself, how can you get out of your own way? With Venus squaring Neptune as well, this is going to draw a focus upon what's possible and what may not be real. Don't let impossible dreams distract you from what is truly beautiful in your life. Now, for you, Libra, we're going to get into the tarot. I really feel like you guys are coming through a very deeply psychological time. There has been a strong focus on the psychology of your astrology very recently. What you think and what you know, and how that translates to your spiritual path and personal growth. You know that there is something greater for you just beyond this horizon, but it's a matter of simply choosing what that is potentially. A lot of you are being guided, and I think that's why I maybe took so much time on the astrology for you today, toward astrology, toward metaphysics, toward spiritual healing, toward the powers of your mind, the ability to manifest, getting through the fogginess into the clarity, and really becoming a clear channel yourself. There's been the overarching theme for you this year of challenged beliefs. And I think a lot of that really is in the seat of your mind. It's in the seat of what you may have thought was very sure, what you thought you would always believe, what you thought you knew beyond a shred of doubt. These things are being challenged and almost forcing you to seek out your own answers. This is going to prove a very smart strategy to overcome and almost in a way swing from these challenging energies. It's almost as if you're taking that gravity of where you could go and where your mind could be drawn to focus on, or where your spirit could dwell, or maybe has been dwelling, but you're using that as a catapult into new areas of exploration and learning. Look at what we have on the bottom of the deck. I shuffled it just before I turned on the camera. We have 4 of Wands. So a lot of you are, really diving into these deeper, stronger areas because, unfortunately, your mind cannot conceptualize everything the soul knows. And so that's maybe where you need to go today and this week. You know what I see within the 4 of Wands? 1111. It's the 1111 card. This is an amazing time for you. A time of intense growth. Show me what I need to see for Libra. What is Libra manifesting on this day? Spirits and guides, please come through with love and light. Please show me what I need to see. Please speak on my behalf for Libra. Like I said, it's going to be a time of integration, and so you may not feel so talkative or lively. We have the Knight of Wands. Let's continue with this. I feel like this is you overcoming something. Look at how fierce you are arriving to this battle. Look at how fierce you are standing in your truth. Libra, King of Swords, getting chills. This is you, this is your energy. You're standing your ground. Temperance is behind you, divinely guided and protected, absolutely. 4 of Cups in reverse. Overcoming the obstacles. Maybe these obstacles could involve elements of depression, elements of it's about your mind and about how you feel about yourself. It could even feel a little bit like you're being challenged with unworthiness. I'm hearing that is not true. I'm hearing for a lot of you, you have already overcome this obstacle. You have already overcome these challenges. And in this, I am seeing you actually breaking through generational patterns, generational curses, fiercely. I'm hearing the word fiercely. It's because you have a vision, Libra. Whatever this vision is, I don't feel that you're questioning yourself anymore. Though you are still receiving quite an opposition. Or you may feel that way. But I don't think it's actually anything to worry about. You're handling things so well. You do hold the higher ground. Your mind is strong. Show me what else I need to see. Seven of Swords in reverse. Look at this. If this is a love interest or if relationships have been on your mind, I feel, here we are again with the King of Swords. I feel this person who you may be involved with could be looking at the past in a very serious way right now. Past mistakes of the past. The Seven of Swords is often trying to regain what was lost. But what was lost was not because of anyone else's actions, not in truth. In truth, this was a hefty amount of self-sabotage that this person is now needing to rectify or redeem themselves from. The mistakes of the past are literally what are coming up again during this Lazarus season. And this Lazarus season is wanting to heal these things. And you can see this person is making steps in progress. They're realizing the error in their ways, or the fact that without making an appropriate decision or action upon building a future here, that may be a bit of a compromise at this point, or a sacrifice, potentially, this person stands to repeat these cycles or not be able to regain what is lost at all. The King of Cups, though, is coming through with love. The King of Cups is coming through romantically, almost as if, working toward this King of Cups energy. They may be right here, right now, right? I'm almost seeing a progression energy, 7, 8. Okay, we're looking at them making steps in this direction to become ultimately a King of Cups who is a devoted king, a dedicated king, a committed king. This King of Cups is very emotionally stable and sure of themselves. Not only that, but they have a high spirituality, very empathic, very psychic person. And I think that this is ultimately what they're working toward. They're working toward building something longer lasting, more viable. And as we discussed in the astrology, Libra, you're not the only one receiving these astrologies, okay? These astrology energies. This person is going to have to look at their priorities. They're going to have to look at what they have put in front of their own path. They're going to have to look at maybe the barriers or blockages they put up for themselves in ways. There's hard work being done. This person may be doing research. This person may be devoting more time into making money or doing the tedious kind of work to, hammer out the details and figure out what it is that's required of them, what it is they need to do, ultimately to establish a firmer foundation and maybe approach you, Libra. Show me what I need to see. The King of Cups is also very self-reflective. So even if you're not involved with a water sign, I feel this person is attempting to get more in touch with their spirituality as well, their emotions. They could be drawn to astrology, they could be drawn to tarot, they could be drawn to spirituality right now, trying to live their life more spiritually in alignment. You know, they could be meditating more, they could be seeking out counsel, they could be getting healings. They're taking their health not only on an emotional level, but on a physical level, on an energetic level, on a spiritual level, much more seriously because of what is being revealed to them about their past actions. This is changing course for the long term. This is changing course. Winds of change. And the reason this person is coming up so watery, again, is because of this spiritual enlightenment. They are becoming more spiritually aware of themselves. And look at who they have on their mind. Empress. You know, the King of Cups is Mr. Romantic. It's definitely a person who has a lot of love in their heart. But if they have not approached you, because I don't see a lot of communication, I would say that this is a very self-reflective king at the moment. A person who is literally meant not to pursue anything in haste, but rather heal themselves from within so that they can better align. Again, this Taurus moon is all about solidifying these changes and foundationalizing what you've recently realized, so that something else can be birthed into the long term. This is what this person is doing. It's much less about communicating and rushing in. It's much more about energy work. It's much more about shadow integration. It's much more about healing wounds of trauma, past guilt, depression, and unworthiness. Okay? But listen, this person sees you as their true pair. We have a true pair here, King and Queen. What is destined will be, Libra, and I think that you can maybe let your mind relax about that a little bit. There are people who are trying to sabotage this. We have people and darkness in general who are working through the people surrounding divine unions or soulmates at this time, trying to compromise the integrity, trying to fool the divine with acts of jealousy, acts of conspiring and bringing that illusion, into play that we kind of talked about. What is real and what is not energy. And so it is an optimal time for people to be fooled if you're not in your higher energy. But Libra, I do see that you are. I do see that you are. And there's no energy that I'm sensing of jealousy. There's no energy that I'm sensing of envy, even curiosity to an extent. The Empress is just fully embodied in her manifestation power. As I said that, I looked at the clock and it's 3333. The Empress is the third card of the major arcana. Okay? So again, Libra, you are in your power. You are in your power. And with this energy, this Knight of Wands and the Queen of Cups, it's really only a matter of time before you see these manifest, before you see these things manifest. Now, the Queen of Cups and the Empress, I will say, especially with this Knight of Wands energy, some of you could find that you're pregnant. Some of you could literally be trying to manifest a pregnancy today or during this time. Some of you may literally find out today that you're pregnant, okay? For those who are not interested in becoming pregnant right now, then make sure you take protection. The Queen of Cups and the Empress are very fertile, okay? But yeah, there's just an energy here of being able to manifest, and I think that you kind of know this, and you're not having to move, you're not even having to get up out of your seat. This is all coming to you. The Empress just waits. The Empress just stands in her power, sits in her power, absorbs the information, integrates, and plants the seeds. Do you know what I mean? It's all about abundance. And this energy here, though it's a collapsing energy in Scorpio season of what needs to be broke down, what needs to be removed, what needs to be cleansed or clarified, there's also an energy of deep transformation and rebirth. And so I think inherently, through this process, you've been rebirthed or something is going to be rebirthed. And with one seed brings 1,000 more. Okay, so there's something about what you've already been able to accomplish that has changed the course of your destiny. It has changed the course of the outcome of this situation. And you just know that given some time and maybe a little bit of nurturing the situation, it's going to produce the fruits of your labor. Of course, the fruits on a tree are the last thing to show up. The fruits of your labor are going to be the very last thing that you see. But there's something about this Empress energy, this Queen of Cups energy, that just knows. Okay, so be in that knowing. Be in the seat of knowing. Be in your soul's energy here. And allow and receive what is coming your way in due time. There is a very auspicious energy here of new beginnings. There's a very auspicious energy here of what is coming through spiritually, but may not be physically seeable yet. Thank you, Libra. We're going to wrap this up, actually. There is no extended for this today. There's no clarity for this energy. It wants to remain very simple. It wants to remain open. And that's the vibration that I really feel we've come from and are now in, this energy of low vibrational, sort of hasty energy, defensive energy, to this open and allowing energy. And so if you can remember how this feels, if you can harness this more, that will just quicken what's coming your way. I really, really like this, Libra. I really hope this resonated with you. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.